Welcome back to the Gamers Love Language podcast. My name is Jackie, aka Getsy.
I'm Nick, aka Ebbles, and today we're going to be going over about just kind of like how to manage your time as a content creator.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, as always, how was your week?
My week was pretty okay. It was a full moon this last week, so I teach outside of streaming and podcasting and all the content creation stuff. And students were a little wild this week, but it was still fun. I had a really good time. It was great. As far as like hitting my streaming goals and my life goals, I completed all of them, which I was very, very happy with. We hit over 150 people in my Discord this week. We also hit my 800 follower goal on Twitch this week.
Dang.
And I think I had another goal, but I think I forgot what it was because I was just so excited about the other two that I can't remember what the third one was, but it was pretty good. It was really nice. What about you, Nick?
It's kind of similar. We've been crushing on my channel our daily sub goals, so I think we're now at number 4 on my sub streak. We got it all the way up, I think, to 5, and then it dipped down, and people got really sad about it, which is really funny. But yeah,
I love that you do that.
Yeah,
It's
I started implementing what's called a daily sub goal, and basically what it does now is I have an incentive on my channel where I'll play my guitar in the event that we hit sub goal. So everybody knows that if we hit sub goal, I serenade them on my guitar, which is always a lot of fun. But we've been crushing that. I just hit over 400 members in my Discord server. So I think I'm at 407 now from last night's stream.
It's a party in your Discord.
A little
all
bit.
day, every day.
It's a 24/7 moderation thing that I need to be
Yeah.
on. But I love it. It's like there's so many active members, so many supportive people that are now in my live streams. It's like that friendly kind of banter that you have from your like siblings. So I'm the youngest of 4, and it's like right at home, kind of like the way that they're interacting with me. And yours is now getting up there too as well.
I know, yeah. It's we have a very sweet, small little community in Getsy's realm, and it's fun. It's really fun. I mean, everyone's so loving and supportive, and we love just sharing our days with each other, and it's been really cool. And oh, I have to say it. We on our Friday night stream on Cinco de Mayo, right? My Cinco de Mayo stream.
Yep.
Taylor Swift, we watched the live stream of her concert in Nashville, and we found out on live stream that she announced Speak Now Taylor's version is going to be released on July 7th. I screamed, and then I was going to buy the vinyl. And then
without telling me.
Without telling him. And then someone from like his community was lurking in my stream and saw that I was going to spend money and went and told him.
Outed Jackie hardcore. Was like, Nick, Jackie's spending money.
He comes running in the room.
I literally dropped everything I was doing and was like, what are you doing?
It was really funny. And my community ended up begging, pleading for Nick to buy. We ended up pre-ordered 2 of the Speak Now vinyls. So if you're wanting to possibly win a Speak Now Taylor's version vinyl, you should head over to my TikTok as well as my Twitch channel so that you can learn more details on how you can win that. Yep. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for that. I'm also doing a really big giveaway when we hit 1,000 followers on TikTok and Twitch for my channel. I'm giving away a Midnight's vinyl, and it's the Moonstone edition. So I'm very, very happy to be doing that and giving back to my community and all the wonderful little Swifties we have in chat. So yeah, that's just definitely been a highlight of my whole day. And I had food poisoning yesterday too, so it was just a lot. It was a week.
It was really funny too, because like right after I went over and got coerced by your entire like peer pressure. I got peer pressured, and I came back to my stream. It was like 60 people were like, buy it.
I know, all 60 of the viewers were just like, you need to do it, Nick, do it.
Oh my gosh, I had one person that was like, no, don't do it, and I was like, I see you in chat and you are really vibing with me right now.
Yeah, there was just one person.
But I mean, the big thing that I was seeing was like after I got back to my stream, it was really funny. I went down an entire rabbit hole. I was like, here's like the best marriage advice that you can have, like as a man or a woman, doesn't matter. Like, do not marry a Swiftie if you want to keep money. Like, if you want to keep some money, do not marry a Swiftie. Yeah, because you'll keep like thousands of dollars like you could buy yourself probably a Disney cruise every single year.
It's true. It's probably true. Yeah, you got the worst combo. I'm a Disney adult and a Swiftie. It's not a phase, Mom. It's a forever thing. Yeah, for those boys and men and ladies who are asking your partners, when is this Taylor Swift phase going to end?
It never does. No,
it doesn't.
It will never end. So that should be like week 1 or 2 of your new budding relationship.
Ask them.
Who's your favorite artist? And if they say Taylor Swift, think real hard on, like, you might right then and there need to make a side hustle. Like, I'm not even joking.
If you love them enough.
So.
If you love them enough, yeah.
But anyways.
Yep. Let's get into today's interesting topic. We're going to be talking about managing your time as a content creator and the 10, 11 tips we have for you guys. Nick, you want to start us off with the first?
Yeah.
Number 1 tip.
Yep. So managing your time as a content creator comes down to a lot of different things. But for starters, let's talk about you need to set yourself goals. You need to have both long-term and short-term goals for yourself to be able to really like tackle this thing as a legitimate thing that you are wanting to pursue. And if you have goals in mind, then it creates like a lot of serotonin that will come into your brain and dopamine that will come into your brain of like, I hit this goal. Like, it's awesome for us to see like in our community, like people saying like, you've inspired me to start streaming. And then like right after they start streaming, they're just getting flooded with so much love and support because we try our best to support all of the members that are active within our community. Yeah. Like, it's amazing. It's one of the best things that we have. Yes. So like getting the messages like, I just hit affiliate, and like seeing just like their eyes sparkle through the messages that we see on Discord is just so vibrant.
It's so sweet to watch.
So having those goals set for yourself and having short-term and long-term, like long-term goal, like something to strive for is like, yeah, like I want to hit partner eventually.
And Twitch gives us some basic goals. You know, you have your first goal of hitting affiliate. Then you have a goal of reaching partner eventually. So those are like 2 really good long-term goals. But if you're on other platforms like YouTube or TikTok or things like that, you could set follower goals, subscriber goals. You could hit goals of like, I want to make this many videos in this amount of time. You could have those kind of long-term goals. And then short-term goals can be just like how Nick and we set weekly goals for ourselves, sometimes even daily. Like, I have daily goals for myself when it comes to creation. I want to make X amount of TikTok videos and post them a day. And then I have my weekly goals of like this many followers on Twitch and this many people hanging out in the Discord community. We just set those goals to help us stay focused and to prioritize our tasks.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like as I was just saying earlier, of I have a daily stream goal. I don't stream aimlessly, and I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing to do, but if you're really wanting to pursue content creation, you have to have kind of a plan in mind. And by setting these goals, whether they're daily, whether they're weekly, I think you need to have a format on everything. Another really great thing too that Twitch provides is there's achievements. Like, you can see all these different achievements of like, how many times have you rated people? Like, your first time, like you achieved like 5 viewers, you've achieved I think 10. I think it goes all the way up to like a threshold. But then there's like raids, there's hosts, there's people on auto host, like there's achievements there as well. And those are also great ways to be able to like come up with some automatically just for you to strive for when you're starting out. Yeah,
if you kind of treat like content creation like a video game, honestly, it's kind of fun. When you have like different thresholds to meet, it makes it like a game, and it's pretty cool. And not in a weird way, but in like an actual like, it makes it very fun. And if you're having fun doing something you're excited and passionate about, it just makes it that much more special and better to do. So
but if
makes it easier.
If you're starting out and you're kind of like scratching your brain as to like, what are some goals that I should be providing? What should I be doing? Right? Especially when you're starting out, like, have a goal in mind. One that's amazing is don't stream with like I'm just going to go live and I'm going to play this game. Have a goal. Like, you know what? I'm going to stream today, but I'm also going to try and maximize my time here while I'm live. What kind of content can I make a post? Can I just like stream and get one TikTok out of this entire live stream? If you can, that's an amazing goal. Yeah. At some point, you can get one thing that you can then post on other media platforms. That's a huge win. If you can get multiple short form contents or even like a long-term YouTube video, that's huge.
It is.
So having those goals set in mind are absolutely vital for growth.
It is. Our next tip would be create a content calendar. Having a specific place for you to see just the overview of everything that you're doing for your content creation is so key. Having that will just motivate you. Not only just the motivation comes into play, but you also just, it keeps you on task.
Yep.
It's a good reminder.
And hold yourself accountable.
Yes, that's a great word. I was just thinking, I was like, what's on the tip of my tongue? Accountability. If you don't have accountability, 9 times out of 10, you are going to fall out. But when in content creation, like unless you have like already a community built and you're friends with other streamers, which both Nick and I, we value our streamer friendship so much. So that's very important to us. But if you're someone who's starting out new and you don't have that already, some people who can hold you accountable, you have to hold yourself accountable. And having that calendar will do that for you. And for me personally, I even use my reminders on my phone. I use my iPhone all the time to remind me, like, today you're posting this, and my iPad's been very helpful with planning everything, and also we use that as well to write down. Nick's making that face. If you're watching the video form of this, Nick is making a face at me because I said I'm gonna buy this iPad, Nick, because I want to use it for content creation more, and he's just like, why don't you use it more? And I need to use it more. Okay, if you buy things for anything you're doing for work. Just use it.
Don't let it sit on a nightstand or in a nightstand cupboard and be like, yeah, we need this.
I use it every day.
We absolutely need to go to Target right now and get this.
I use it every day.
Do you?
I do. But yeah, if you have that calendar, it's super helpful. That way you can plan a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then break down your year into quarters or thirds. Yeah. So a lot of people they can plan their whole social year in thirds or quarters. I personally like quarters. That way it's every 3 months. I'm creating new goals for myself. I'm reevaluating what I did and what I achieved, and whether or not I need to push myself more with how much content I'm making, with what I'm creating. Just it's a very nice thing to have. That way you can plan out, like, every single Sunday. Nick and I know we're going to be in these chairs recording for you guys every Saturday. You mean Saturday? We record Saturdays, you guys. So every Saturday we're here recording for you, and without that we would not be on task.
No, you need to have a schedule. You need to have a content calendar, just so that you're holding yourself accountable. And eventually, like, once you start doing this enough, it becomes like second nature. Like, we know now at this point, it's like, we know we wake up Saturday and we like make coffee, breakfast, all that good stuff, and then we're here planning out our content for this podcast. If you're wanting like a good way, like something to strive for, this is what typically a lot of the bigger ended creators do. They're making 5 different posts on short form a day. So they're posting 5 different videos on TikTok because platforms reward consistency. They reward like quantity as well. And like, there's 2 different ways that you can go about content creation. There's quantity and then there's quality. You can choose one or the other, but realistically speaking, it just comes down to what it is that you're wanting to provide. Now, if you can provide both, that's huge.
Yeah, and over time, the more and more you practice making that content on that short form platform, you're going to be able to create more quality pieces.
Absolutely. But being on platform, something we've said a bunch, is the most important thing. And when you're starting out, you can't hold yourself or hold yourself because you're thinking it's not going to be as good as I know I want it to be. That's a hard mindset hurdle to get over, because think of it this way. When you're starting out, it's not going to be at 100% of what you want it to be. Let's just face it. If you go onto any single YouTuber, any single content creator, and you scroll all the way down to their very first video, it'll be so different than where they're at today.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at some of the big ones like Mr. Beast or PewDiePie or like any of them,
You're
literally.
Like, who do you watch?
Any of them, it's going to be so different, and that's because they've grown. They've grown their quality, they've grown their quantity. Like, that's something to strive for. But if you're wanting like a goal to hit, that's the big one. Yep. 5 posts on TikTok daily, and that's something that I can't even manage myself right now. Jackie's trying her best to.
3 times is all I can manage at the moment, and that's even hard for me.
Yeah, and that's why we're talking about managing your time here, because we both work full-time jobs. We are full-time job people, and then we stream pretty much full-time as well.
The term for it is called bivocational. So a lot of streamers are bivocational. They have 2 jobs or more, and it's very hard to manage your content creation time and your life, and basic human needs and working a full-time job. So that's why having that calendar is very important. That way you can really get nitpicky about like this day, this time I'm doing this, posting this. It just helps you have a more clearer mindset. And also, like, when you have so much on your plate, it's so easy to get stressed out. And so having that calendar will help you manage that better.
And that stress could lead to burnout.
Yeah.
And that's something that you do not want to do. And this ties into the next step. But the last thing that I wanted to say on this is when you're doing this, to kind of like bring some more clarity, a calendar is to where you're choosing specific days to really help yourself for the rest day or like the other following days in the week. So like a great other thing, like when I say like ideally you want to get to 5 posts a day, that's not something to say, holy heck, when I get off of work, I have to film 5 TikToks. Like how in the world am I? That's not what I'm trying to tell you. The big thing here is batching content. So having and choosing a day where you know you're going to have free time. So like today, after we film this podcast, Jackie's planning on filming like 10 to 15 different TikToks that she'll then draft and have ready and available to post throughout the week.
Yes.
That is like the big thing. So choosing a day where you know I have like an hour, I could probably make 5 TikToks within that time. That's where you do that, and then you have those available, and you don't have to get 5, but trying your best to be at least 1 or 2 a day.
Start with one. Just start with one, grow from there, and then see how it does, and be aware of like the times in which you should be posting, which you can also put in your calendar. Mark exactly like I'm going to post at this time on this day because that's when my audience is on. Use those analytics to your advantage and mark those on your calendars so that you can be just aware of the trends and when you should be posting. So that's another way too that you can use your calendar to just help you understand like your audience better.
Yep. And again, that ties in right into our next tip, which is going to be break your tasks into smaller steps, because you do not want to overload yourself here. So if you're going to be filming TikToks, like break it down. Like really don't think like, okay, now I have to make 5 TikToks or I have to batch 5 different video ideas. Like break it down. Like think on, okay, maybe scroll through TikTok yourself, see kind of what niche you're in, and then really focus
brainstorm.
like actually research. Spend some time doing research on yourself. And that's something you can do aimlessly as well. Like, let's face it, so many people before they go to bed are on TikTok scrolling just to be entertained.
Yeah, my bedtime TikTok time is research time for me. I literally before bed I'm just like there coming up with ideas, saving them, writing in my notes. Like it's just become a part of my routine.
Like TikTok has the entire thing where you can add stuff to your collection and you can create separate little boards for yourself.
Yes.
So literally when you're going through, you're like, you know, this looks like a great idea. This falls right into my content space. Maybe I can make a similar video and add my own unique spin-off. Save it, put it in your collection, put that into like an inspiration board, and then whenever you're like having some time that you can film some TikToks,
boom, it's right there. You just grab it, make it your own thing. It's fun. It's a good way to do that. Yeah.
And there's a ton of ways that you can do that just from TikTok itself. You don't need any special software. You can just film, you can cut and trim, you can do all of that within the app. So there you go.
There you go.
But
yeah. Nick, how do you break down your tasks into smaller tasks?
Me, personally?
What do you do specifically?
Well, like, so for instance, I'll use the podcast as an example here. So we film this podcast and we film this for like, call it an hour, right? And then I have an hour that I have to edit and do all of that. That's a big task. Now I break this down into smaller steps and really try and optimize my efficiencies. So I say, okay, I'm going to edit the podcast, I'm going to trim out everything here. But while I'm doing that too, I have other things. Like I try to make short form content from this podcast as well. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and editing the entire thing, but I'm also like having another area on my computer where I'm marking specific timestamps while I'm editing to showcase, all right, this is a good area that I could actually use for a short form content piece like TikTok or YouTube. And then I'm going through all of that and I'm breaking it down into smaller steps to really optimize the efficiency of my time here. Because I'm multitasking, but I'm doing one thing across multiple different areas.
Yeah.
So that when I go back, after I have fully edited the podcast the way that I want, I have the ability to then go back and be like, oh, now I just have to go in here, take this little short form piece, and then I have a TikTok ready within like
That's
45
great.
seconds.
That's a great way to break it down. I love that so much.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that that's what you do for us.
And that's
We love you for that.
That's a huge thing too. When like a lot of people say create long form content and then be able to have short form content that can come from that. That's like a great way to go about it, and why I also was saying like live streaming with the intention and a goal set in mind. Like if you can get a TikTok from it, that's a win, because then you're not just aimlessly doing things. You're streaming with the intention of growing across multiple platforms.
Yeah, exactly. And then you want to prioritize those small goals and those tasks. That's our next tip. Number 4 is prioritize those tasks, meaning like let's sit down, all those things you've written down on a piece of paper or in your Google Doc or anywhere that you would organize your content creation planning. You need to prioritize what's most important to you. And the way to find out what is most important to you is to look at your goals. Look at what you wrote down. You know, say, hey, my goal this week is my number one goal is my follower goal. But then after that, it's usually like a content creation goal.
Yep.
So I want to make X amount of videos plus maybe dabble in making one YouTube video this week. So like that's my priority. I need to make those videos. So then that's my number 1. I'm going to highlight that in like yellow or red, like urgency, and then go in and like break down each little thing, and just like, even you can niche down more. You could say, TikToks are my number 1 priority to film, but then you go in, well, what TikToks am I making and which ones are the most important? In which order do I want to post them?
Exactly.
So what order do I need to film them in? And you can color coordinate. I'm just super organized that way. I'm very OCD in that way. And it's just like, I color coordinate everything so that I know like urgency and what I'm doing. So you could go even further down, more and more breaking it down. So even if you think like taking one thing and prioritizing it, then reevaluate it and see again, I can make it even more broken down.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other big thing there that kind of ties into it is trends, right? Trending things, like there's a lot of different trends within all of the different spaces within TikTok. Like multiple trends happen based on the niche that you're in, right? So find what those trends are. A lot of people, you'll see a trend because you'll see it multiple different times and a bunch of people putting their own unique spin and twist. If you can hop on that trend, who knows? That video might go viral.
Yeah.
Jackie hopped on a trend within Disney Dreamlight Valley, and I think that video has like, what, 20,000 views? Something?
50,000 views.
There it is. So it's like hopping on these small trends that like you're thinking, nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put the effort in.
Yeah.
Put the effort in. See what happens. Like hop
and
on
that
those.
video for me was literally, I made it in less than 1 minute and then it blew up. So it's just one of those things of like, you don't know what's going to be successful and do well.
You have to experiment.
But if you prioritize the things that are trending and doing well, then you know,
like
you
can
see the reward come out from it.
Have your ideas, have the things that you know, like, all right, these are what I want to post and prioritize. But then in the event that you're scrolling and doing your research, if you find a trend and you have the time, hop on that trend, get it done, get it edited, get it ready, and then post it at a good time.
Yep. And then when you are like prioritizing your things, a really good tip, our 5th tip for you, is set a deadline. So Nick, can you talk about just like, because we're prioritizing things, why is it so important to set a deadline?
Because if you do not set a deadline for yourself, you will not do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's case and simple. Like, there's analysis paralysis. You'll overthink something so much. It's like, I know I can make this better. I can make this better. Again, start, get it out there. You might not have the highest quality content compared to other people, and it's hard. You'll see so many different content creators that are doing it full time, have full-time editors, have people that are helping and assisting them, and they have an amazing quality content and quantity of that as well. So you're trying to like pigeon your way in there a little bit, and it takes some time. It takes time to get used to it. It takes time to get your quality better. You have to start somewhere though. So if you're starting from the ground, you only have upwards to go.
Yep.
So just set a deadline, get your goals set and prioritized, and then just say, all right, I'm posting 1 video a day. I'm going to commit to that for this week. That's my goal.
Yes.
And then if you do that, like
have a date, set very specific dates and times.
So it's like, I post 1 video a day at 7:00 PST. That's my goal. And I'm going to do that for this entire week, and I'm going to see what happens. And the more consistent that you are with that, the more rewarding a platform is.
And also, the easier it gets. Like, you realize, like, hey, I've gotten into a groove now. Let's add another one. It just makes it easier. And then you just make sure that you can stay consistent with your deadlines so that you keep motivated. Because how many times have we been in, like, school or college? And I know a lot of us who are watching are still going through school, and we have those deadlines. And as much as we wish homework or work projects weren't due on a certain day, if we didn't have those deadlines, we would never do them. Honest, at least for me, I was such a procrastinator in
Staying
school.
organized
so,
is huge.
Staying organized and keeping yourself accountable to those deadlines is so important. What is number 6?
And that's where, again, we kind of hit this a little bit earlier, but batching tasks, like how I do with the podcast. I'm not only just editing the podcast in itself and then I have to go back and try and siphon through the entire thing. No, I'm batching that, right? I'm going through, making my edits, fixing the things that I know, and then I'm making notes on where are the different timestamps that I know that could do well within short form content. That's batching. That way I know, all right, I have that ready, so when I'm ready to go and spend some more time to be able to edit these shorts into, or edit the podcast into short form, I already have everything kind of laid out for me. I just have to go to that timestamp, edit it, bada bing, bada boom. In like a minute, I have an entire
Bada bing, bada boom.
ready to go short form that I can throw up onto our Google Drive that we have for everything so that we can get it on our phone and get it posted.
Speaking of Google Drive, number 7 is use productivity tools. So using specific tools to help you manage your content is so key. It's very, very important. For us, we love using Google Drive. It helps us communicate better as like co-creators because we're not just individuals in this, we are co-creators. So we need a platform where we can communicate and share all the content together, because if he's editing, I need access to the edited content to finally upload, post, revise. So that's definitely a place that we use is Google Drive. I have used Trello before, and I use that for like planning out what I'm filming. And for events too, I've used Trello for. I think it's a great app to use. Also, you can make it really pretty. If you love aesthetic things, Trello would probably be a really good place to use. Use your phones, definitely. If you have an iPhone, like they have a lot of productivity tools on your iPhones that I think people don't really use as often. Like use your reminders, use your notes tab and put it on your home screen so that you can see it. It's a constant reminder. I know sometimes reminders get annoying and we can snooze them all day long, but honestly, the more and more I see it, it like lights a fire under me and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get this done. So definitely use all of those things. And then what you want to do is learn to delegate your tasks. Nick, do you want to talk about just like what that might entail? How do you get to that point of delegating as a content creator, especially when you're starting off just by yourself?
Yeah, well, everybody's situation is a little bit different when it comes down to delegating. Ideally, though, the first thing that you want to prioritize as a creator when you have the ability to, like when you're in a point of monetizing your content and being able to like create some earnings, possibly even doing sponsorships, and you're getting some traction and some seed money, then ideally the first thing you want to prioritize is getting an editor. Like that's like number one, that's like the first priority that we've been trying to get for ourselves. Because having an editor that can just take your content, you batch upload, you're just like filming a bunch, you're getting a lot of raw content. It's a lot of time to then go through and edit all of that. So that's time spent to where you could be, rather than editing it, you could be in the content creation space still and constantly focusing and researching and just filming yourself more and more if you have somebody that's helping you with editing.
Yes, and networking more. It
exactly.
frees up time to network more
It's
too.
like there's a lot of things that come from content creation, especially if you're talking about live streaming too. You're not only learning how to live stream, manage a live production, handling like all the different kinks and setup like issues that can natively come from that and all the like tech issues, but you also are editing. Like if you're doing it right, you're editing that content, you're posting on other media, there's social media managing, there's like editing, there's so many different full-time jobs that come from just being a content creator. And it's kind of daunting. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and but as time goes on, you slowly start to get better and better and better.
Yeah, and you can eventually, especially in live streaming realm, you do have moderators, and as you grow and grow, and if your moderators are comfortable, you can always delegate new tasks to them as well. I don't know how often people might use your moderators to help you edit or post things, but there are small things that your moderators can help you with too, especially in like your Discord areas and like helping out keeping your spaces clean and safe for others.
Like you could literally, like, it just depends on the relationships that you're building and how, like, if you have a significant other, if like Jackie and I are a little unique because we both live stream, but if one of you within your relationship is doing the live content and then your other significant other is willing to help you out and maybe even help you with some of the editing process in their free time or help you moderate your live stream, that's something that you could easily kind of reach out to them and be like, hey, would you be willing to help out? But I mean, like, we both help each other out. Yeah. Again, delegating, trying to get to a point where you can have a dedicated editor for yourself. That's like the big space that almost everybody wants to be. Yes. And it is not cheap. So actually something that I'm planning on doing, because I edit, I am an editor. I've been doing this ever since I was 15. So I have a lot of knowledge within that. What I'm planning on doing is actually reaching out to the community that I have within Discord, and then seeing if there's anybody that wants to learn this skill set and actually teach them how I want my content to be edited so that they can learn a skill that they could then take and be able to replicate to other potential content creators. And that's a great way to be able to create a skill set, teach somebody how to do so, even help with the potential funding of software. I mean, there's a lot of free software available, but then give them basically an internship, essentially. Teach them how you want it to be done. Yeah. And then that way, if they want, they can go and reach out to other creators and grow that.
It's a really fun way. And I do want to hit a point, this is unrelated to what you just said, but I do want to hit a point of like things that I see often asked are like, my boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife, partner is a content creator. How can I support them in their journey doing that? Like Nick said, it's a very unique situation for us because we both are in this world. So we understand each other so much when it comes to what needs to happen. And so we help each other. We delegate for each other. But if you are not in this world and you're listening to this podcast and you have someone that you know who might need help, who is a live streamer or who does post on YouTube or TikTok and is doing pretty well for themselves, there are many ways that you can help. Sometimes, if you just ask them like, hey, is there a way that I can help you at all? And they might be like, yeah, would you mind like moderating for me in my live stream and just like helping out with that? And it's also a fun way to like hang out with each other because like on Monday this last week for me, I had a really hard day, so I canceled my live stream. But you know what I did is I hopped in and I moderated for Nick's stream that day, and then he ended up getting raided by Musty, and so I got to help him out with a huge raid, which was so cool. And then it felt like I was a part of it, and I got to hang out with him, and I did pop in a stream, and we sang a song from Shrek, and it was just, and we sang Peaches. It was great. It was just a fun time, and I think it's a great way to connect and hang out more. And then if you're a live streamer or content creator who has a partner who isn't in that world, don't be afraid. Honestly, don't be afraid to like ask them, like, would you want to help me in this? Because ultimately it does bring you closer together, and I think it's a fun way to connect. It's a fun way to hang out, helping each other with that.
And we I think hit that on a previous episode as well, but it's just like having that level of understanding. I mean, with both you and I doing it, we understand it very, very well. But if you tie somebody in, if you bring your significant other and be like, hey, would you be willing to help me out here? It opens up an entire door for them to have a new level of appreciation for all the work that you're doing. Yeah. And it's then like, dang, I did not realize like how much was on your plate. Because like, again, like Jackie, if she wasn't in the space,
which I wasn't for a very long time,
and there were nights where I would stay up until 2-3 in the morning. It's like, why the heck are you staying up so late?
I was so confused. I had no idea what he was doing in this world of online creation. I had no idea because I never asked. He never told me. It was just a separate thing. I was like, oh yeah, that's just something he does, and I wasn't involved at all. Right. I had no understanding at all.
All right. So getting that and bringing them up to speed and doing it in a kind way, not just saying like, this is what I'm doing and like, you're not supporting me. Like, no.
Please don't do that.
No. Like, bring them up to speed and tell them like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm passionate about. These are my goals. Go through the entire breakdown of kind of all the different points that we've hit up to this point and be like, this is what I'm doing this for. These are the reasons. And I think that's another point that we didn't even write down, but having like your main, what's the word? Not motto, but like the, I don't know what the word is. I can't think. You were spaced out hardcore there.
I just spaced you guys. I don't know what just happened.
No.
My brain went somewhere else.
I guess, for lack of a better word, what is the, like, the inspiration? Why you're streaming, right?
Your driving force.
There you go.
Yep.
There it is. Took us a minute. But, like, having that drive on why it is that you're actually doing this is a big, big key point. And that was something that I hit with Jackie, right, even before she got started within the content space. It's like, what are your intentions? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, you would ask me that all the time.
Because it's, I think, a big, big point to hit home on, because it showcases if you're doing it for the right reasons or are you doing it for the wrong reasons. And that's a big thing. Are you doing this because you just want to make money? Are you doing this because you genuinely want to support people and create relationships?
Be a person and
yeah. And that I think is a big tell-all on where you're mentally at.
Yeah.
And being able to like really hit home and grow as a creator.
Yep.
So, with that being said, another point that we have is to schedule breaks. Yeah. Because that is huge. You need to. It is. You need to have some mental breaks for yourself. Because, like, as Jackie said, she just took a mental break from Monday.
Yes, because as much as we always say, like, consistency is key and stay on task and always stick to your schedule, you need to put in those breaks. Because honestly, as much as it is such a fun job doing this, sometimes there is mental tolls and struggles that come with creating content, and you need to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, all the time. Yourself is very important. I've struggled with this in my journey in streaming and creating content. I've honestly struggled with always wanting to strive to be my best self and always pushing myself beyond what I probably should be. Because everybody has bad days, but I've grown up always being like, no, I gotta push through and like be the best always. And this has been a mental hurdle. I'll just be honest with you guys. It's been a mental hurdle for me. It's hard for me to take breaks. But you have to. Like, I have a break coming up in June. I'm going on a girls' trip, and I've been struggling, Nick, so bad with the thought that I'm not gonna be live streaming for, like, I'm gonna miss I'm only missing 2 streams. And my brain is telling me, like, don't do that. You can't do that. You can't have a break, because I'm afraid of, everyone has different fears. So there's just things that come with taking breaks. But Nick, can you talk about just the benefits of taking breaks and why it is so important? Because I know there's so many people that are afraid of doing this. Yeah,
I mean, there's... Think of it this way. You can only operate for so long, right? You can only, like, a car can only drive for as long as it has gas. So if you're not constantly putting gas back in the tank, you're going to run out of operating power. So you need to have those times and that time to kind of like take a step back, refill your gas tank to be able to continue moving forward. And that's huge. You need to have some time to kind of refill yourself. And that's like, that there's a lot of different ways that goes into. Like, that comes down to like games and like how we talked about on the previous episode on, you need to just spend some time outside of stream playing some other games for yourself. Because you play, like, if you're playing a dedicated game and you're staying consistent within a category, you need to kind of have just a mental shift. That way you're not playing the same game constantly, and you can get refilled, and you can have that, like...
Yeah, keep your passion on fire.
Like, again, we play games on stream because it's something that we enjoy.
Yes.
And if you are only playing that one game and you're operating for so long, you're not taking a break to, like, tonight, I already have some stuff scheduled. I'm just going to take a night and play whatever I want or do whatever I want and just kind of relax. You need that. Taking a trip and going somewhere and kind of refilling up yourself is huge.
Yeah, experiencing life is so important, and taking a pause from the world of creation, you can really find a lot of peace and joy. And then when you come back, it's honestly so refreshing when you see, like, oh wow, like when I missed Monday, when I came back on Wednesday, my community was like, we missed you so much. But then they were also just so happy for me that I did take that time for myself and that I did take that break. But I came back just kind of feeling very grateful for everyone and for the platform that I do have. So it's not something to be scared of at all. It's definitely something to be thankful for and appreciative. It definitely helps you humble yourself and just take a pause and
because I think
and see that. Yeah,
I think a big thing here is, again, a big reason why so many people get scared to take breaks, especially as a live streamer, is because we all know when we're live, that's time spent. That's a job, right? We're on platform, we're growing, and we're reaching new people, and we see that, right? That there is that transaction of new people that are finding out about us that potentially could convert over and join our community. It's a new relationship. Yeah. And so time spent away when you're not live is time spent away from growing your community. And this is the big shift point of live streaming again, and we'll say this so many times, I guarantee it on this podcast, but live streaming should not be your main focus. And it's really, really hard to get that mental shift because we see it's such a more immediate transaction in our brain. So that's why we want to stream for so much more. It's like, I want to stream full time. I want to stream every single day if I can. And people ask for that too. And it's really hard to say, I want to get to that point, but I'm just not there yet. Yeah. Because again, your focus should be on other media platforms because that's passive. That's time where you actually are posting and reaching people that you would not typically reach. And that is the way that you can have acceleration to your growth because Twitch is immediate.
And it makes it easier when you do have those other places for people to go see your content.
And for
taking a break becomes easier because you know, hey, they can't be on my stream, but you know what? They can land on my YouTube page. They can land on my TikToks and just like interact with me there, even on the day that I'm not going to be live. So that's why it's so important to hang out in those other spaces than not just on Twitch.
And if you are planning your content and you have a calendar and you are scheduling a break for yourself, you can spend some more time. Like if this was your typical job, sometimes you have to do some more front-end work to be able to set yourself up for success when you do go and take a break or a vacation. So planning some like extra content that you're going to be posting, and you can automate that. So when you are on break, you're like, hey, let me take 5 minutes, let me post this TikTok, and I'm still active on platform. But you do the front-end work before you're out and about on your vacation or on your break. That way, it's just easy.
And it's not taking away from what you're trying to experience in real time.
Exactly.
Our last point is to evaluate and adjust, to manage your time better. Always be going back, looking at your things, just always going back and checking out everything because you never know. You might have missed a step. You might have gone through every single one of our little tips and tricks. And sometimes, like when life gets busy, you might miss one thing. Some things get lost in the commotion because there's so many moving pieces in content creation. So always go back, reevaluate, check out what's going on with your content, check out your analytics, make sure you're going back in your VODs. That way you're spending time, very intentional time, making sure that you're being on task.
Yep. So what is great points overall, but what's one thing as like a final tip that you would give to anybody, like if you were to be talking with them specifically?
My final tip, my Jackie tip. Well, for me, you guys know relationship is my most important thing. So when it comes to like managing time, the reason I think we say all of this, like managing your time better with staying on task allows you to free up time to spend time with people, whether that be online or in person. I just feel like a lot of people lose that when they get into this world. They lose that intentional connection with others. So I think for me, my very last tip is take the time that you've now given yourself by being more on task and more diligent with your time. Take that extra time now that you have for yourself and meet new people. Definitely build more relationships. Further the relationships you already have, because that's what makes our world go round. Like life is about creating relationships and connecting with others and sharing love and kindness and
the moment that you find out that Twitch is not a you thing. It's a relation thing.
Yeah.
The more people that you can support and create
Yeah.
relationships with, the more you're going to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the game of Twitch.
Yeah, it's not a selfish thing. It's definitely a place where you get to help others and be with them and walk them through things in life. And I think if you take everything we've given you and apply that to your life, you're going to have even more time to focus on the important things that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
In streaming and creating content. So.
And we bring all of this to the table not only because we stream on Twitch, but this is like the philosophy that we have within our lives and creating new relationships in person too. Like a lot of this kind of stuff still has that same transaction transfer to creating friendships in your personal life. Like if you want to be able to have more people to hang out with, go out and have like drinks or go and have a party, like invite people over. Just doing that alone, that is going to like allow you to have like this aura around yourself.
Just joy.
And
happiness,
people will be drawn to that.
Yep.
And that's how you want to go about that. You want to shine as bright as you can to others so that they're drawn to you.
Yes, and people respect others that manage their time better because, I mean, no one wants to be walked all over. People want to be made to feel important and cared about.
Exactly.
So I would just say if you're following all the things we said, like you're just going to have lots of more time to do that. Yep. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Nick, you want to send us off with a little goodbye today? I know usually I do it, but I feel like it's your turn.
Just want to say to everybody and everyone that is our listeners on whether this be YouTube or Spotify, just a big thank you for all the love and support on our Twitch streams, on our other forms of content on TikTok and all of those things. We really, really love each and every single one of you. And if you have any major questions, always feel free to let us know within our Discord. Let us know in the comments. You can, I think, comment on Spotify as well. So if you have questions, always feel free to let us know. We always see those, and we want to really make sure that we are catering this podcast specifically to what y'all's needs are. We have a lot of knowledge base, and we try our best to steer these episodes in the direction that we think is the best and what people need to hear. But if you guys have questions, always feel free to let us know. And remember, finding the right balance is hard, but once you find a balance that works for you, you're just going to flourish. And with that being said, thank you all for watching this episode of the podcast, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
See you very, very soon. Don't forget to check out our Twitch channels. Hang out with us on our live streams. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. PST, and we stream on Sundays at 2 p.m. PST. We'll see you guys there. We love you all, and we'll catch you next time on the Gamers Love Language podcast. Bye,
Bye
guys.
everyone.
Bye.